So at this time, I am going to call upon Honorary President Jeff Drimmel to oversee the elections.
Welcome. I want to thank everyone too, as PK did. I appreciate your years of letting me serve this section. I've made it pretty clear with this board of directors that I don't plan to go too far away, with some other hopes maybe in a few years. But thank you all for your support during my tenure as your honorary president. Today our first position is for our section president position. Paul Kelly has completed his term of president, and Peter Kurbers has been nominated for the office of president. Is there a second? Seconded by Bruce Anderson. Are there any other nominations for president of the Minnesota PGA? Any other nominations? Do I have to do this 3 times? Any other nominations? By acclamation, I would like to congratulate Mr. Peter Kurbers for being elected president of the Minnesota section. The next position open is for the position of vice president. Peter Kurbers has completed his term, and Steve Fessler has been nominated for the office of vice president. Is there a second? Second? Are there any other nominations for the position of vice president of the Minnesota PGA? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Thought we had one there, Fess, sorry. By acclamation, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Steve Fessler for being elected Vice President of the Minnesota PGA. We're going to go quickly, so if you have a nomination, make sure you make it loud and proud. The next position open is for the secretary position. Steve Fessler has completed his secretary term. The term of secretary will be a 2-year term. Are there any nominations for the position of secretary of the Minnesota PGA?
Joel Berger.
Mr. Joel Berger has been nominated. Is there a second? Yes, Joel Berger has been nominated and seconded. Are there any other nominations for secretary of the Minnesota PGA? Second call. Any nominations for secretary of the Minnesota PGA? Last call. Any nominations for secretary? At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Joel Berger to come forward and present to the membership a short explanation of why he feels he's qualified for secretary position of the Minnesota PGA. Mr. Berger.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joel Berger. Thank you, Steve, for nominating me, I think. When I started on the board of directors, I told everyone I don't have an agenda, and that's changed. I do have an agenda now, and we were blessed with a large gift for our foundation that I think should be used to help the members in this room. We can't pay you cash directly. We can use that to get some things going where it will indirectly get some money in your pockets. And I think that's our obligation as board to explore all those avenues to improve the quality of life for everyone in this room. That's why we're here. Thank you.
Seeing no further nominations, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Berger. By acclamation, he is now our secretary of the Minnesota PGA. Moving into regional director positions, the Dakota chapter representative was elected by the Dakota chapter at the fall meeting in October, on October 5th. Congratulations to Mr. Nick Wimmer on being elected the Dakota chapter representative for the next 2 years. Congratulations, Nick. All right, Southern Minnesota. The first position open next is the Southern Minnesota director position. Michael Zinni has completed his 2-year term as Southern Minnesota Director. The Southern Minnesota Director is considered any individual who resides and works south of Highway 12, not within the Metro Director area. Everybody write these down. Here's what the metro is: Chisago, Isanti, Sherburne, Anoka, Washington, Ramsey, Hennepin, Wright, Carver, Scott, or Dakota. So southern director south of Highway 12, not in any of those counties. Mr. Tim Huffman has been nominated by Mr. Kelly for southern Minnesota director. Is there a second? Second. Greg Snow has been nominated by Eric Hildreth for southern Minnesota director. Is there a second? Second. Are there any other nominations for southern Minnesota director? Mr. Berger.
I'd like to nominate Mike Zinni. Many of you are probably asking, why does Mike want to stick around and do this? Mike provides a very important lifeline to the past. And Judy's cut me off. See ya, bye.
All right, we have Mr. Zinni nominated. Is there a second? Second. We'll get into the details later. Any other nominations for southern Minnesota director? Second call. Any other nominations? And last call. Any other nominations? All right, we're going to go in order. We're going to have these gentlemen come up in order that they were nominated. So we'll start with Mr. Huffman, Mr. Snow, and then Mr. Zinni. If the rest of you could get ready to take out your southern Minnesota director position nomination form, and only the green one, only those in the southern section of our section can vote. So green forms only for those south of Highway 12, not in the counties I listed. And they're going to hand out the green form, so don't look for them too hard. Again, this is we have one representative coming from these three gentlemen, and if we could have your attention, please, Mr. Tim Huffman will start. Mr. Huffman.
Well, thanks PK for nominating me, I appreciate it. Didn't know Mr. Zinni was going to be running, so I kind of thought maybe I could give some assistance. I live in New Ulm right now. I've been there. This is my 15th tour of duty down there. Wrapping up the 15th year. I've got a wife and 3 kids down there. One's in college up in the cities here, and 2 are at New Ulm High. I've served on many boards in my community down there. Presently, I'm on the hockey board down there, so I feel I can give an open mind to things, and I will definitely give, if elected, I will give 100% to my commitment. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Next up, Mr. Greg Snow.
All right, I don't have a lot to say, which is unusual for me, but I'm really excited about this opportunity. Moved to Olivia 2 years ago, kind of got to know southern Minnesota a little bit here, and like I put in my bio, the big thing that I've noticed is that in small communities, which I kind of consider our group, it's very important that everybody get involved, and I feel like this is the time for me to do it. With the family structure and with the situation with my job, it's time to get back to the PGA, and would honor the opportunity to do so. So thank you.
Thank you, Greg. And now, Mr. Zinni.
Well, thank you, and thanks, Joel, for nominating me. My name is Mike Zinni. I've served on the board several years, and I really enjoy representing you locally and at the national level before. My main concerns, of course, are employment, education, and member benefits. These are the things that I try to push it at the local level and at the national level. And I would enjoy representing you again. Thank you.
Okay, so if we could, the green forms that were handed out to the southern portion of our section are the ones to vote for one of those 3 candidates. I'm going to change. I've kind of changed Johnny's script here. Our next one would be northern, but we're going to put a hold on the northern Minnesota position because Craig Thompson has left his position as northern director. That position will be elected as a 1-year term. We'd like to do the at-large first because those are 2-year terms. And then once the at-large are done, we'll come back to the north, so. Not sure if we have anybody nominated for Northern yet, so think about that while we're counting up the ballots here. We should probably wait, huh, Johnny? Any others? Any other forms, green forms? Raise them up high so we can get a quick count. Don't worry, I'm not going to show any PK videos. Might tell a few jokes. So keep in the back of your mind, the next election we're going to have are for our 2 at-large positions. That's anyone that is in our section. And then we'll go back to the Northern Director. And just so you know, Northern Director is the area north of Highway 12, not including those metro counties. So we have a couple minutes while they're counting. Why don't we just talk amongst your table. If you're in the northern part of our section, try to line up somebody that you can put on the spot and nominate and have a second. And after they come back, we'll do our at-large 2 positions and go to north. All right, this is wasted time, so I'm going to try not to waste it. We have Bruce Lubach here, our career consultant. I know Bruce made himself available here for our fall meeting. I'm not sure anybody scheduled an appointment with him, at least we've had a few. One of the things that Bruce is offering as our career consultant is assistance in helping you rate yourself in how well you did running programs at your facility for the year. I'm going to meet with him to do mine. A lot of times, as PK said, we don't toot our own horn enough. I'd like to actually come up, and they've already done it for us, a report on how your programs went, how many new golfers you brought to the club, what that may have done with revenues at your facility. It's something that we have talked about for years and years and years, and I don't know of many of us that have actually done it. I know this time of year we just like to take a deep breath and think about what's going to happen next year. But if you can, get together with Bruce. Bruce is always well to respond to emails, phone calls. So I would highly encourage using Bruce. Bruce and I have a lot of conversations throughout the year. We're going to get him up here to make some cold calls on some of our 400 or 500 facilities without PJ members, and a lot of us know where those are. So just please use Bruce as much as you can. He'll do a good job for you. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Mike Zinni, our Southern Minnesota Director. Congratulations, Mike. All right, next position. We have 2 at-large director positions. Joe Berger and Greg Schultz have completed their terms as at-large directors. Both of these positions will be 2-year terms. We have accepted some nominations for these. Jay Meyerhoff has been nominated by Lori Money for an at-large position. Is there a second? Second? Greg Schultz has been nominated by Paul Kelly for a position as an at-large director. Is there a second? Second? Chris Smith has been nominated by Nick Anderson for the position of at-large director. Is there a second? Second? Greg Snow is back on as an at-large director. Is there a second for Mr. Greg Snow? Second? Thank you. Are there any other at-large director nominations? Mr. Kitts.
I'd like to nominate Mark Foley.
Mark Foley has been nominated. Is there a second? Second. Are there any other nominations for an at-large director? Any other nominations for at-large director? Last call? Okay, help me keep these straight. We're going to go in order. The order will be Mr. Meyerhoff, Mr. Schultz, Mr. Smith, Mr. Snow, and Mr. Foley. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Jay Meyerhoff to the podium. Speaking on Jay's behalf, Lori Money.
Hopefully you all saw his bio online, but I'll briefly touch on it. He was an assistant at Medina for eight years, and now he's a head pro at Rush Creek. For the last 3 years, he's been on the growth of the game for the last 8 years, and really involved with Special Olympics Minnesota, got our Fat Pants Open going. He was on the assistants board, and he does a lot of job mentoring our assistants.
Thank you, Lori. Next, I invite Mr. Greg Schultz.
Thank you very much, PK. Thanks for the nomination. Been on the board now the last 2 years, obviously, but also on the junior golf committee for 15 years. Been chairman of the education committee and co-director with Brad Pluth on the teaching division. So all this in, of course, the board of directors. So been pretty involved, and I'd like to stay involved. Love being on the board, and appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Next up, Mr. Smith.
Hello to everyone. You guys all look good today. I know some of you from playing tour golf with you in the past. I'm from Detroit Lakes. I've been there 13 years. I've been a chapter president up there. I've also been on the board in the Connecticut section. I will spend the winters here. I should be committed to an institution. I'll be spending the winters up in DL for the next 4 or 5 years, but I'd rather be committed to the Minnesota PGA section and represent you guys on the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next up, Mr. Greg Snow.
Can we defer?
Ditto.
Can we defer?
Are you taking your name off?
No, I mean,
Yes. Greg would like his previous presentation to stand. Just in case National's going to watch this video. Next up, Mr. Mark Foley.
I'm Mark Foley. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Bruce. I've worked at Manitou Ridge for the last 25 years, believe it or not. I did serve on the board of directors for 6 years, tournament director for 5. I would love to be back on the board. I think communication is the huge issue here. I think, I'm not going to get into my agenda actually until this all goes away, but anyway, I think as far as the board communicating with all of us is the most important part of what we need to be getting done. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right, so it looks like we have orange ballots. Everyone in our section may vote. Keep in mind you're voting for 2 of the 5 candidates. So please make sure you demark on your form circles or which 2 you're trying to vote on. Yeah, PGA members in our section.
Again, in order to not waste time here, we're going to move forward into the business portion of the meeting. And in your packet, you had a form here for the high school golf season. If you can please look through your packet, it's a white sheet here. Your section board of directors have been asked by several section members to bring up and discuss the Minnesota Golf High School season currently being conducted in the spring of each year. On your table, you have that survey. I ask that you fill that survey out. It's just a brief survey on the back. We're asking you to consider the possibility of approaching the Minnesota High School League to discuss moving the component of high school golf to the fall season. And we will have this available for discussion in the open forum, I believe, right? I think that's correct procedure. But at this time, it's just valuable to us as a board if you can fill it out in the things that are pertinent at your facilities.
I know this question is going to come up at my club on Tuesday, so is anybody going to close their course before the 15th of November? Raise your hand. Anybody before November 10th? Okay. Anybody closing like Mark Foley and never? Ever? Ever? Okay. Any thoughts as we're waiting on any of the resolutions? Have you looked at the resolutions since we have Mr. Kelly and Mr. Curvers voting? Like Mr. Kelly said, any strong feelings one way or another on a resolution would be helpful. I know we've had some great emails going around that's really helped a lot of the discussions. Keep in mind, they're there to vote for you and pass along what you're thinking and do what's best for our section or our PGA members. So any discussions on that we need to do? So I know Peter and PK know them inside and out. Mr. Thompson, our District 8 representative, will go over those a little bit as well. Let's talk about the presidential election. Yeah. Just wants to talk about the amendments that we're getting ready to vote on. All right, they're getting close out there. We'll give them another 3 or 4 minutes, and then just a reminder, any of our newly elected position holders will come up and take the oath when we're done doing the Northern Director. Jeez, you guys are really kicking me out of here with a lot of off-the-cuff stuff. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about our Minnesota Special Olympics and Bad Pants Open. For those of you that didn't know, that was on the heels of our Fall Leadership Conference. Having known that, we sent President Ranowski a note very early into his planners that we expected him to be there, or at least nicely asked that he be there. President Ranowski did stay over that Wednesday night. Joe Berg and I took him to dinner and had a great conversation. And Alan did come out for the full day at Medina for our Bad Pants Open. Ian Leonard did try to get him into a pair of Zubas that he respectfully declined. But they did have, Alan was on, I know, a couple news channels. He did do the 1500 radio station, I believe. So I thought it was really cool that he would take an extra day. You know, those guys only travel 8 bazillion days a year, but President Ranowski did like the event. We also had a couple other national PGA board members there. And to a person, there were some males and females there. To a person, they will be stealing some of our ideas to do that with some of their local foundations, including Special Olympics. So we did actually increase our participation to the point where we may have to find a double shotgun course, or at least do a morning and an afternoon, in hopes that in a year or two we can do it with sister clubs close by and do double afternoon shotguns. So one of the things that this executive, well, PK and the board of directors and officers did is made sure that some of the monies went to our foundation, and as was reported earlier, we're expecting in excess of $20,000 going directly to our foundation for that Bad Pants Open. So anything you can do for that, send players over, offer up your golf courses for silent auctions, but it was a great event, so I appreciate all the support we had on that as well. So congratulations to everybody involved with the Bad Pants Open. All right, since everybody's so happy with my ad-libbing, the voting is too close to call. They're going to double check the voting. Hopefully it won't be a Florida issue with the chat, but I think we'll be okay. Any other just topics that anyone wants to discuss before PK or Peter Curvers pulls me off the microphone? Anybody curious about anything with section-wise, statewide golf, section-wide golf?
Voter ID.
Nothing to do with the vote here, but it was mentioned earlier, and Steve got a plaque, but you know, and I know he doesn't want the credit, but Sam Emerson did a lot for the VA, getting this whole clinic thing. So let's give Sam a hand for that.
What about a lady player of the year?
I think this is kind of an open forum topic, but Mr. Zinni would like to come up and talk about a topic. You're already elected. You haven't been voted in yet. I am sworn in.
Uh-oh, haven't got sworn in.
I wasn't even elected.
I was just bringing up an idea. We have about 25 to 30 ladies in our section now, and I was just thinking maybe it's about time that we have a Player of the Year for our ladies. So that's just something for us to think about. Maybe we can talk about it a little bit more in open forum. Okay, thanks.
I'm going to introduce our District 8 representative, Mr. Chris Thompson from Nebraska. He's got a little presentation later, but as he just mentioned, he can take care of a few of the housekeeping items for the PGA of America. So, Mr. Thompson.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Thompson. I'm your District 8 representative. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I just want to tell you it is a real honor to be the District 8 and represent you guys here. I'm a little biased, but I think that District 8 is probably the strongest district in the country. You've got some very engaged officers here, all the way down to JD. And it's been an honor for me to get to know those guys as I went through the chairs in Nebraska. I'd like to congratulate PK for a great 2 years as president, and congratulations Peter, Steve, and Joel for being elected up into your positions. Also want to congratulate the award winners that you're going to have this afternoon. Great job on a great season and winning those awards. Also Mike Schultz for being named our PGA Golf Professional of the Year. What an honor. So congratulations, Mike. Communication is the thing that we always hear as guys stand up at the podium and talk about. And I just want to tell you that I think that District 8 is probably one of the strongest in communication. Your officers and your board know what's going on nationally. They get a report every week from me. We've talked on the phone. We've already had a conference call before our fall conference of leaders. And we have another one scheduled for October 24th of this week. So we'll talk about the upcoming election, the officers, or the candidates that are up for election. We'll talk about the resolutions that are on the floor, and I'll go through those here in a little bit. And like JD said, and Honorary President PK, if you have an issue with a resolution, you want to voice your opinion or concern, definitely get a hold of one of your officers and let them know, because they're here to represent you when they go to this annual meeting in November. And that's the only way that your voice can be heard, is to get a hold of them. Don't sit back in the back of the room and be silent. Pick up the phone and call them up, pull them aside, ask questions, be informed. That's the way that these resolutions shape our association, and you are our members, and you are a direct influence in how we shape that. So, is it done yet? The vote done yet? No? Keep going? Okay.
Bill.
The music. Bill, yeah. Oh gosh, I'm out of housekeeping things here. So anyway, I just wanted to get some of those little housekeeping thank yous out of the way. There's a few things that I'll talk about the resolutions. We'll go through those. I'll try to give you the layman's approach to how those are going to hit the floor, and you know, that feedback would be great. There is some information that I have about Golf 2.0, and I'm going to breeze past Golf 2.0 and just talk to you about my experience with Get Golf Ready this year. I won't give that now. You want me to give that now? Give that later? You're probably not done. No? Okay. Okay. All right, I'll give it now, since you asked. As you guys talked about Golf 2.0, Golf 2.0 is a housing mechanism for growing the game of golf. And the best way to do it is it's personal. It's what you want to do at your facility. It's not a mandate that comes down from the PGA of America that says, gosh, you got to grow the game and you got to do it this way. They give you a playbook. It kind of gives you ideas on how to do things. You know, but the bottom line is when you come down to your own facility, it's how you want to do it, whatever you want to call it. I call it Get Golf Ready. It's already branded. They've got collateral information that I can I put my name on all the collateral information. I carried my briefcase. It has the PGA logo, my name, my email address, my phone number. I go in and talk. If I go in and I got a pizza one time, went in there, and as I was waiting for the pizza, the lady saw my PGA pin, which I wear every day, and she just asked. She knew right away that I had to be associated with the golf business. So I went out to my car. I pulled out a Get Golf Ready flyer, one of the earlier flyers that they had made. I gave it to her, and lo and behold, this year she was in my class. She bought a set of golf clubs from me. So all because I bought a pizza where she was working. So it's kind of cool how that works. So for me, what I did with Get Golf Ready is I sat down with my owner and my assistant at the time, and we wanted to talk to them with my GM and my owner about what had happened with the game of golf, where it was at 30 million golfers, and where it is now, and this was back in 2011, at 25-point-something million golfers. And basically wanted them to understand where golf was, where it is now, and what I was going to do personally to grow the game back at my facility. And I have an 18-hole facility, and as well as a 9-hole executive course that's attached to it. So I call the executive course, it's the bunny slope of golf. It allows people to get introduced to golf in a non-threatening environment, play a golf course that's not too long, going to take them too long, and that they can go out and have a lot of fun. So I actually gave them the Boston Consulting Group information. I drove them to the Golf 2.0 website, and I was very upfront with them on what was going on out in the industry, and I didn't want them to have anything sugar-coated when they saw me up on out in the practice facilities every day teaching these lessons, thinking that I'm just putting money in my pocket. I told them how I was going to put the plan together, how they would benefit from it, and so that they would see some growth. Am I running out of time? Okay, I'll finish up here. But the bottom line is, we put the Golf 2.0 information out on our website. I developed a player development link. I did no advertising. I emailed my members. I emailed my email databases, and lo and behold, the phone started ringing to get signed up for the $99 Get Golf Ready program. As a result, with this program, my program finished top 10 nationally for growing the game. I never dreamed that it would have been that big. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to offer programs and get people through. Last week, I completed my last Get Golf Ready 2 session, which was for people that had already gone through the program once. I offered them a special deal, $75, and I filled that class up. There's people out there in your community. That's the bottom line, is if you just do a little bit of work, you make it personal, show your owners, show your general manager what you're going to do to grow the game, man, you got a home run. It's out there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You're already doing it at your facility. You just make a concerted effort. I taught every class from April through October, and I had an assistant that taught with me, or I had a PGM intern. So if you have PGM interns, they're a great resource to bring in. It helps them learn how to teach. If you get an upperclassman, they've already been through some of the seminars, so you've got a great resource there to help you run these programs. This year, I'm in the process of trying to get a few of those interns to do nothing but player development. Golf 2.0, junior golf, those programs have just exploded for me. So it's a way that you can then at the end of the year show your owners and your GM how you've done your job in growing growing the game, not just for growing the game, but for them. So I think they have the results of the election. So that's my little spiel. I'll get into the rest of the stuff in a little bit. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Good report. We know you've been very vocal on the national level for us, and your program's been awesomely successful. So congratulations. At this time, I'd like to congratulate our two at-large directors, Mr. Mark Foley and Mr. Greg Snow. Congratulations. All right, our last position up is the Northern Minnesota Director. Craig Thompson has resigned from this position. This will be a one-year term. Again, the Northern Minnesota Director comes from any individual north of Highway 12, not including the metro counties. At this time, I believe Mr. Chris Smith has been nominated for Northern Director. Is there a second? Second? Are there any other nominations for Northern Director? Any other nominations for Northern Director? Yes, sir.
Nominate Eric Peterson from Cragun's Legacy Courses.
Mr. Foley nominates Eric Peterson. Is there a second? Second. Are there any other nominations? Second call. Any other nominations for Northern Director? Last call. Any other nominations? All right, at this point, we've got two, so if you could get your ballots out, if you're in the Northern Minnesota Director, we're gonna pass those out. Thank you, Carla. We also will hear from our two candidates. Mr. Smith was nominated first. If you'd like to come back up, Mr. Smith, please come up, and then Mr. Peterson, be ready to go next. Thank you. Why don't you raise your hand if you're in the Northern Minnesota region, and we can get a ballot to you, please.
I know Eric Peterson well, and he would represent your section very well. And I look forward to representing your section if you vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And Eric, Mr. Peterson.
Hello, everybody. I echo the words of Chris Smith. Know him well, and he would represent us very well as well. I've been a PGA member since 1996. And a member of the Minnesota section since then as well. Looking to get involved at this point. As Greg Snow said, at some point you want to jump in and get involved a little bit. Unlike some of the other individuals, I am coming on the board without an agenda. I can't say I won't have one in the future, but at this point, want to get involved. Been involved very much in the community from various boards, from associations to Chamber of Commerce, served as the president of the local area. So certainly look for your vote, and would love to represent you. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. So Northern, anybody else need a Northern ballot if you're in the Northern part of our section? Remember, vote for one. Two qualified gentlemen. One thing you won't hear going into November is our two presidential candidates complimenting how good each other would do if elected. I haven't heard that yet. So it's nice to be in a fraternal organization that you can actually do that, have some spirited discussions on a board level, and still play golf with each other the next day. So please raise your ballots up nice and high. This vote should go fairly quickly, and then I'll invite all of our newly elected officers and board members to come back up and take the oath, and we will proceed with the meeting. As they're counting the votes, why don't we have Mr. Zinni, Mr. Snow, Mr. Foley, Mr. Kerbers, Mr. Fessler, Mr. Berger, all come to the stage to get ready to be sworn in. I think you're already up here, you'll be fine. Come on up. And congratulations goes to Mr. Chris Smith, Northern Director. Please come up. I can't let that one go. Mr. Ryan, Minnesota Golf Association. This Board of Directors would like to challenge the Minnesota Golf Association to a rugby match next spring. All right, candidates, congratulations. As part of our Constitution, we need to swear you in, so if you wouldn't mind, with my back to you, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. As a member of the Executive Committee of the Minnesota Section, Professional Golfers Association of America, do hereby affirm that I shall at all times adhere to and uphold the association and section's constitution, bylaws, rules, and regulations, and that I shall otherwise conduct my activities in a manner that shall be in keeping with my position as an officer, member of the Executive Committee of the section, and which shall reflect credit upon the association, the section, and its members. Congratulations, everyone, and now we'll turn it over to newly elected President Kerbers.
Okay, we're going to get back on track. Takes a little time there, but that's a very important aspect of our association as we gather in the fall to elect the leaders that are going to represent you. So I welcome all the new members on the board of directors. Look forward to the next year or next 2 years working with them and seeing what we can do, as Joel said, to help everybody in the room. I do want to at this time thank, as we've done before, but I want to thank Jeff Drimmel for his 8 years serving. It's even goes much beyond that. I think Jeff's been a part of the association in some fashion probably for 20-some years, correct? And I don't think he's going away, so we appreciate his service. And Paul Kelly, thank you for everything you did for the section, and look forward to you still being on the board with us for the next 2 years. Also, one thing that I just want to clarify here, this will conclude the era of JDs and PKs because I am Peter, so I don't have one of those quick things. So I'm Peter Kerbers. If you want to say PK, you're going to get confused with PK, so the JDs and PK era is now officially closed.